Hi guys, it's Carol from Cape Cod Cottage Garden. Welcome. I'm gardening here on Zone 7A on Cape Cod, Mass. And today I was going to do my late July garden tour. But I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks now because, oh my gosh, I'm a mess. And apropos, because my garden is a mess, I have had a woodchuck on my property that has decided to eat all of my perennials. Well, not all, but it's so discouraging. I don't know if you looked at my earlier videos, but I think I planted something like probably 50 new perennials, especially in my back border beside the shed this spring, and they were looking so gorgeous. It was like I wanted it. It was lush and gorgeous, and the vegetation and the flowers, everything was just so lovely. And now it's like almost completely annihilated. So I'm reluctant to do this garden tour, but like I said I'd show the good and the bad. I mean, I think this year my garden is just, I think, you know, I had a lot to take on with my brand new vegetable garden. I was working on that, but even my pots. I mean, some of my pots look good, but my driveway pots look awful this year. I don't know. I was dealing with a lot of things this year. I did get my new clematis I put in got wilt. I had terrible damage from pests all over the place. My vegetable garden, although I have to say this, let's look at take it on a positive spin. I learned so much that I know next year I'm going to do so much better. I mean, I'll go through the garden and I'll show you what I think what I learned and how I can do better next year. So let's go ahead and just take a quick tour. So here I am approaching my Buddha bed or my Zen garden. What I wanted to capture in this garden is just a little quiet moment with the bubbling water. It really is relaxing. In this bed you'll find unplugged So Blue Mealy Cup Sage, Super Tunia Vista Bubblegum, Blue Mohawk Graceful Grass, and White Alyssum in the back. Turning now to my shade garden, you will see I have this gorgeous elephant ear. It was a purple elephant ear. I just got it at the local Home Depot. Look at the veining in it, and it's huge. Love it. You'll also see I have this pinkish red impatiens that I actually got on sale for like $2 a 6-pack. There is Shadowland Autumn Frost Hosta. The Stilby is Ivory Pearls. They've gone past a little bit. I also have Heuchera Georgia Peach, Coleus Black Dragon, and Hakone Grass Areola. And these are also two pots that I had an elephant ear in, some more of that same Coleus. So now I'm going to take you through the back border and show you where most of the damage has been done. First I'll start on the left here because there's really not much going on over here, but I want to show you. If you see these little cylinders that are hardwood cloth towers that I built, those I planted a lot of perennials from seed, probably about 90 plants. I planted them all in this back border, and the first 2 days they were mostly eaten. So I did have some extra hardwood cloth, so I did protect some of them. So this over here is Echinacea purpurea, just regular coneflower, my shadow. I mean, it was really down to the ground, so it's starting to come back now. I mean, these won't flower this year because I planted from seed, but next year I'm hopeful I'll have some nice coneflowers here. So as you know, I have my Weeping Fagus Beech, Purple Fountain Beech. My hibiscus did suffer some damage. You can see here. I'm trying not to spray too much this year. I'm really trying to protect the pollinators, but they have lots of buds on them, so they will come up nice. My butterfly bush over here bloomed gorgeously. And I lost a lot of hydrangeas this year, guys. Here's one of them. Well, actually, that's a hydrangea, and beside it is a foxglove volunteer that I'm letting go. I'm hoping next year this thing will flower. There's one over there that I actually lost too. Even my rhododendron isn't looking great, guys. I gave you for fair warning. We're having some trouble in the garden this year. This pot, it was looking really lovely, but I just deadheaded all of the geraniums off of it, so it's not very colorful right now. And this is just about to bloom, my canna. So this will look pretty nice, actually. And this window box always struggles. I think I'm gonna have to replace it. It's just not enough soil. It's a tiny, tiny window box. So, I mean, if you don't water it twice a day, this is what it looks like. I mean, it's not horrible. It's not horrible, but it looks a little sad, but not bad. So now on to the bunny damage. I mean, no, bunny and, oh, they did even more tonight. The woodchuck and the bunny. I can take the bunnies. It's the woodchuck that's really killing me. This is my Liatris. What do you think of it? Isn't it lovely, my Liatris? So what they do is they bite the flower stalks off, leave the flower stalks, and I don't know what they're doing, but this is starting to come back, but they completely defoliated my weeping pussy willow. The hollyhocks that I'm growing from seed, they were beautiful, but as you can see, let me show you better. They completely got munched down to the ground. See, nothing left. These ones that are showing some foliage is because I had them underneath those little wire baskets. I have more over here. As you can see, this one was under a basket. These weren't. Under this basket is Globe Amaranth, the Truffle of Pink. That one's starting to come back. These ones were eaten completely. Backing up a little bit, let me show you. Oop, I'm in the shadow, sorry. That's my rose campion. It had gorgeous flowers on it, stalks, all gone, eaten. My gorgeous hardy geranium. So this one did get eaten quite a bit, but not all the way to the ground. You'll see my other 4 plants have been completely down to the ground. I did put this little party favor in the back to try to deter them. I don't know if it's working, but this one they haven't totally destroyed. Now you wouldn't think that they would eat alliums. Things don't like to eat onions. So this one still has some flowers on it, even though they took a lot of them off. You can see, and the bees are enjoying it. There you go. You can see here, stalk, and they ate all the green foliage right down. That should be tall. Excuse me. All of my blue fescue grass has been eaten. You can see, I'll give you like an overview. There's lots of hardwood cloth towers back here now, but all my color is gone because they ate everything. That's going to be the recurring theme here in the garden. My drift roses. These have come out really nice. As you can see, look at this plant. That's from my allium. I think this one's called Summer Beauty Allium. You can see where they just chomp, 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 like the whole thing's been chomped. This one's, they didn't even finish chomping it, but look at it. And there's the flower heads all on the ground. This just happened overnight. Excuse me. Over here, I did have, oh, my shadow's gonna be in it, sorry. Cone flowers completely annihilated. My stargazer lilies, look how lovely they are. Aren't they gorge? Absolutely gorge. But look at down there. Totally lopped off 2 huge stalks of stargazer lily. Just, now that can't be a bunny. Look how tall it is. It's probably about 2.5 feet. So that's the woodchuck. My pots are doing pretty decent. And this is, I have this one protected. I forget what this one's called. I'll put the name up. But isn't that pretty? These truffle of pink gomphrenias I protected, so they're starting to come back. They were down to the ground. I'm afraid to uncover them. The one thing they don't touch is my autumn joy sedum. That's just about the flower heads are forming at the top. And insomnia, I think that, no, not insomnia. I'll put the name, I can't remember the name. That's a spring flowering plant. Guys, another disappointment. Look at my roses. You saw in previous videos how gorgeous these knockout roses were. Absolutely stunning. Now look at them. Completely eaten. We have this mylar balloon here because we were trying to scare them off. That's what that is, but I see a little bit of growth coming right down there, but can you imagine how discouraged I am by this? Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good feeling. They don't touch the agastache, and they don't touch the sea holly. That's sea holly right there, and that's agastache. They haven't been touching that. And in here, I have my marshmallow, Amazing Daisy marshmallows, and another coneflower. Looking really pretty. I'll put the names up. My hydrangeas are doing pretty decent back here. After struggling a bit last year, they look pretty good now. We lost a lot of hydrangeas here on Cape with that really Arctic blast we had. And they've totally eaten every bloom off of this marshmallow daisy. That one is protected over here. This one is eaten. And now, guys, I don't know if it really truly shows, but right here was 2 hardy hydrangeas. They're starting to come back a little bit now. But when I tell you, this was a wall of beautiful color. And now it's down to pretty much sticks and a few leaves of green that are starting to come back. Now these hardy geraniums were a big focal point in my garden because when you're sitting way back, I mean, you can see just this blanket of purple, which is just lovely. We even threw some raw onions out here trying to deter things. Also, they completely annihilated my yarrow, which is right here. I think I showed this in an earlier video. It was, I believe it's called Apricot Delight or something like that. They lopped up every single bloom. And down here is the demise of 2 more huge hardy geraniums. There was one here, like literally huge, and one there. This was like a 5-foot wall of flowers. And these are gomphrena that are getting all the flowers are munched off. You can see I had some coneflowers here. And some of them are making it, but they're munched off too. And then in the corner, I don't know if I ever showed you this, but in this shady corner over here, we started planting a little hosta garden. Just a few hostas. These are unknown varieties because this one and this one, unknown variety because I picked them out of my yard when I first got here. This is an autumn frost, and that is an empress woo. But they're getting eaten also, as you can see. One thing that nothing's touching is our emerald green arborvitae hedge, which is looking lovely. Excuse me. Sorry the lighting's not so great. It's kind of early in the morning. And even my transplanted rhodie is not looking very nice, is it? But anyway, it is what it is. I'm hoping that we get rid of this woodchuck, and next year the garden will flourish. Pots are looking decent. I'll go slowly through and try to put the names up with some of the plants, even the ones that aren't flowering yet. Onto the vegetable garden. So even though my cut flower gardens, they don't look pretty, because something I learned is I never staked my dahlias. I bought this dahlia tubers or corms or whatever you call them at like a Home Depot or something. So they didn't have any like information on them, how tall they got or whether they needed staking. So I just threw them in, and some of them are huge and needed staking. Excuse me. We did have some damage here, but mostly just the zinnias in the front. You're going to get my shadow in here, I'm sorry. But I have to tell you, I am loving the straw flower. It flowers, it's a prolific flower. I love the texture. I've cut a lot of these and put them in my house, and they're just lovely. They last a long time, and the color is really beautiful. It looks like fire, doesn't it? So lots of straw flowers here. I do have some gladioli that's coming right there, and I do have a dahlia under here that hasn't bloomed yet, but it's coming. The zinnias have all been eaten, as you can see. I don't know if you can see that. The stems are all chomped. And I'm really liking this zinnia. This is Cinderella Peach. It's a lovely flower. Prolific and beautiful. Look how nice that is. Oops. Pretty, right? Some of the other stuff in here is just doing okay. So that's the right side. I'll take you to the left side. Oh my goodness. Here's an example of what I come out to every morning. Let me get out of the shadow. Look at this. They've done some damage overnight. Chomped right off. Look at all these flowers. You know, they're just doing the cutting for me. I'll put these in a vase. Here's another one. I come out to this every morning. It's really, really discouraging. These are China asters. There's another couple. Yep, so all of that was munched off overnight. They were like right in through here, as you can see. But here's some gladiola. Also, it needs to be staked. And these gorgeous flowers here. Let me see if you can see them. Aren't those pretty? More straw flower, China aster, and my dahlias. I have a couple of different varieties of dahlias in here. They need to be deadheaded. But they're pretty, aren't they? I'm not 1,000% disappointed in this. I mean, part of this is my fault. I didn't stake it. Next year I'll know. I'm going to have them staked and they're going to be gorgeous. And this is also, I think this one's called Frank Kafka. Isn't that a pretty dahlia? And it's pretty. It has a lot of blooms on it. Mixed in with the straw flowers. And I just think it looks pretty lovely, actually. Isn't that a nice little garden view? Let's go inside the vegetable garden. So, as you guys know, my first year with the vegetable garden, I had a small, like 3x6 plot at my old house. This was a whole new animal, this giant garden. But one thing I'm really pleased with is my pot when you enter. Look how gorgeous it looks. Well, some of it's in shadow. Isn't that pretty though? It's exactly what I wanted, this big bang right as you walk in. And to my right, I have some gomphrena. The lighting isn't very good. Isn't that pretty? My cucumbers are doing well. As a matter of fact, I think there's some in here that need to be picked. Let's take a look. Oh, there's some back there. A couple. There's one growing here, and look at this one over here. Needs to be picked. Nice. Those look nice. Another thing that's been lovely, lovely, lovely. I will grow for sure again. These dragon tongue beans. Sorry for the shaky camera work. We ate like hundreds of these the other day, last couple of days. Absolutely delicious and tender. Even when they get, if you leave them on the bush too long and they get too big, they're still delicious. Those were really a hit. And then I have regular green beans under here too. Oh, these are still dragon tongues. Radishes. My ground cherry. Oh my gosh, guys, this is a great plant. I absolutely love it. I've never heard of it before. It's the lighting is really bad here, so I apologize. But you can see here, this is what the ground cherries grow in, these little pods. And when they fall to the ground, you pick them up and you eat them. And they taste like pineapple. I think they're in the tomatillo family. Problem is, the birds have discovered it, and I haven't had one ground cherry in about a month and a half because they eat them before they even hit the ground. So that's the problem. Calendula doing nicely here. And this pretty, oops, zinnia. Bachelor buttons. These are Granadero tomatoes. Ooh, they're starting to get a little bit red in there. The other thing that's doing well, but I only had one tomato so far, are my Sun Gold cherry tomatoes. You can see the system I used to trellis them up. And you can see all the fruit. This one's starting to ripen here. Fruit. But I have only had one, because as you can see down here, right before they're fully ripe, the birds or something are coming and picking them off and eating them. I told you I was having pest damage, and I am. So down here I have more tomatoes. I have San Marzanos. Guys, look at them all. They're looking really good. If only I can get them before the birds. And over here I have beefsteaks growing. You can see a few examples there. So this bed I also have peppers, which I think my peppers, they suffered. I put them out kind of early because I planted the seeds too early, and they kind of look yellow. I don't know if they're getting too much water. That's a possibility. But obviously I've let a lot of these jalapenos go red, as you can see. But I have some green ones here. I picked a lot of the stuff yesterday. You can see. And my bell peppers, we did eat a lot of them. Plus the Jimmy Nardellos and the what the heck are they called? Cayenne long. That one's curly, but they've been fabulous. I'm drying them out for hot pepper flakes. I have these marigolds here and a nice little bug. That's the other bed. In here, I just deadheaded all these cosmos. They were looking really lovely, but I deadheaded it. I have several more bags of potatoes to harvest. The potatoes have been amazing. More beans. These are Jimmy Nardellos that aren't all the way ripe yet. You can see what they look like. They're fabulous. Very nice eating pepper, not hot. More flowers here. And underneath here, I have cabbage that We can't eat any more cabbage, so I'm kind of just letting it go. But these are my Brussels sprouts. And they are starting to sprout up. I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can focus in on it. You can see them right there, the sprouts. And along the back fence, I've got some nice sunflowers coming. That's a teddy bear. That's a pro-cut orange. I have some squash in the corner, some radishes. I don't know what these are. Oh, these are pole beans. You can see some right there. I can even pick those right now. Some more bachelor buttons. These are pickling cucumbers just starting to form. My lettuce bed has all gone by, as has my peas that I just took down. I had all peas along here that I took down. Another bag of potatoes. My onions are just about ready to harvest. Here's my carrots. I've gotten some really nice carrots, but my onions are starting to fall over, so they're almost ready. I have 3 different kinds of onions in here. You can see right there. That one's almost ready. I have red, I have Spanish, and I have early New York whites in here. So my onion bed is doing well. You can see them over here. How they look. They're getting there. And my carrots, I've really enjoyed the carrots. Not all of them are perfect, but very delicious. And this bed's just a hot mess. Excuse me, I let my celery go to seed. Just look at all the bugs on it. They're enjoying it. This fell over. We had a storm last night. I pulled up all the broccoli that was in this bed. And there's some cosmos there. All my herbs got eaten. So, some kind of bug. And I have some scallions there. So overall, I mean, my garden wasn't perfect by a long shot. But for my first time, I'm pretty pleased with it. It was a lot to manage on the first time trying. I learned so much. Next year, I'm definitely going to plant triple of everything I planted. Not so much the tomatoes. I'm happy with the number of tomato plants I have, but like the peas, we only got maybe 2 meals out of the peas. Well, half the problem was we kept coming out here and eating like the snap peas because they were so delicious. But I'm going to plant the whole row of peas, whole row of cucumbers. Like, I'll do better next year. So let's move on to the front. So I'm looking at from the east side of my garden to the front yard. And I'm doing that because I wanted to point out these 2 hydrangeas over here. These were along my fence. So sorry, I'm right in the shadow. There's one there, and there's one there. We pulled them because they looked dead, and they're looking fantastic. They like this spot. I'm eventually going to plant up this whole side of the yard. Just haven't gotten there yet, so these plants will not be wasted. Let's look at the fence garden. It's actually looking pretty good. I got my grasses over there coming in nicely. That is morning light miscanthus. All of my rhythmic blue hydrangeas, the flowers on them are just amazing. I have some neighbors walking by, so I'm probably going to have to speak with them. So if I interrupt, I'll come back. This one needs to be deadheaded, but look at the size of the bloom. Isn't it lovely? Absolutely gorgeous. Here's another one. Needs to be deadheaded. This is one of the new plants we put in. It's not doing great. It's a little shocky, but still putting up some nice flowering. This is also another new one we put in this year. And you can see the older plants have the bigger heads on them. Look how beautiful. Guys, look how gorgeous that is. I just love these plants. Love them. This one's a little bit past. On the end, I have my Russian sage, which looks lovely. I love that plant. Isn't that pretty? And my 2 clematis that suffered wilt. I did have, oh gosh, now that I'm looking at it. So wilt comes after the flower blooms. Oh gosh. So this just bloomed. This is my Sally Moser, and look at, it also has wilt. I thought I was gonna be able to save this one. So after the flower blooms, when you see it wilting like this, you have wilt. These flowers, these leaves will turn all black, and there's nothing that can be done. See the dead blooms up there? Oh, that's too bad. I thought I was gonna save the Sally Moser, but I guess not. It happens after bloom. Sugar. But this is my Jack Manii. I cut out all the wilt, and there's still some green on it, so I'm a little hopeful for that one. So we'll just have to wait and see. That's disappointing. Look at my roses, those guys. Like 2 weeks ago, I don't know if I put the video up, but I went through and I deadheaded all these. It's not necessary on knockout roses, but when you do, they flush back so much more nicely. There's a lot of reasons to deadhead them. You don't have to. But look at them, guys. Beautiful. All the way down the line. And the bees are enjoying them too. Oops. Shut up. My skills of a videographer are really lacking. Took me a while to find it. Okay, guys. Now for the front. All my hydrangeas are just starting to bloom, so they look pretty lovely. There's some good news out here too. That's Prime, Limelight Prime, and the other ones are Little Limes. I planted a whole bunch more guara because I lost my guara plant. I think I planted 5 or 6 of these out here. It's so bright out here, I can't see if you guys can see these flowers or not. It's really bright today. Got some sedum, some phlox that's just starting to flower. Those are my peonies that looked absolutely stunning this year. And going down the line, my California spruce, blue spruce prostata, looking pretty. But look, guys, the best news of all, my buddleia. I'll try to link the video where I show you that this thing was dead, dead, dead. I literally was contemplating ripping it up, and everybody said, rip it out, it's dead. I don't know how it's growing, but then one day I came by and there was one little green leaf. So I clipped off all the dead wood, and look at it, came back. I mean, it's not as big as it was before, but it's flowering beautifully. It came back. So many people lost their butterfly bush, buddleia on the Cape because of that Arctic blast. Another one of my pots. I'm going to be in the shadow. This is a great plant. Look at this. Meteor shower verbena. Gorgeous. This is actually an aqua pot. I don't know if you know what those are. I bought that for my other house because I'm not there that much. And it has like a water reservoir in the bottom that you fill up the whole thing, and you only have to water it like once a week or once every 2 weeks. I wasn't using it at my other house, so I brought it down here. And I have some more mealy cup sage here looking lovely. And now, last but not least, my walkway bed. So as you can see, the Bobos are putting on a show. I did cut back. These were absolutely gorgeous. My Maize and Daisy Maize. I just trimmed them all back so there's no blooms on them, but they'll reflush. You can start to see there's a couple of blooms here. Same thing, my Perfect Profusion Salvia. Usually flushes back much better than that. It's pretty sketchy. I don't know what's going on there. My lemon coral sedum, my other sedums, my phlox. I have 2 different colors. I have a pink and a white. Luminary Apolensis and luminary backlight, I believe it's called. If I'm wrong, I'll replace it. This one did flush back just a little more, this salvia. But now this is the second bloom, but the bees love it. So as you can see here though, this is my coneflower white swan. I do have one bloom that's reverting back to purpurea, but look at all the stems that were eaten off, guys. That woodchuck made his way out here. Doop, 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 doop. Oh, look at all these blooms. I took some of them and brought them inside and put them in a vase, but look at them all. And then, I shouldn't have ended on this note because these aren't so great. These are my driveway pots. The fan flower has been overtaken by the bubble gum. I have a beautiful coleus here. I can't remember the name. I'll put it up. This one looks better than this one. I don't know what happened with this one, guys. It's looking pretty rough. But anyways, that's how it goes sometimes. Overall, not a total disaster, but I think last year was much better. Let's end on a good note with my gorgeous Japanese maple. So that's about it, guys. Every time I do a video, I vow not to speak so much, and here I go, talking through the whole video. I never script anything, as you can tell. I just go for it. But anyways, overall, I'm pleased with the garden. I'm still very happy. It's gorgeous. It's my happy place. I hope you're enjoying it too. I did have so much company this year that some things did get overlooked and neglected, but that's life, right? I still love it. I enjoy every minute of it. And next year, I'm hoping not to have a groundhog. My only regret is that I didn't video it before the groundhog came and decimated the back border, because that was one of my goals this year. If you looked at my goals video, to get that back border looking lush, and honestly, it was really stunning. So I know next year it will be better. Anyways, thank you so much for joining. Enjoy your summer, and I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.